very interesting observation that is made about the liturgy of Shabbat. In every other holiday, there is a bracha in the Amidah, there's a bracha in the Shmona Esrei, that is the same for the evening prayer, the morning prayer, and the afternoon prayer. It is a middle bracha that focuses on the holiness of the day. Shabbat is the only sacred day in the Jewish calendar where the middle bracha in the Amidah is different between the evening, the morning, and the afternoon. There is a different theme, a different aspect of Shabbat that is emphasized. Friday night, we emphasize the Shabbat of creation, that God created the world in 6 days and rested on the seventh day. Shabbat morning, we emphasize yet another Shabbat, the Shabbat of Matan Torah, when on Shabbat God gave us the 10 Commandments. And then by Mincha time, as Shabbos is ebbing away, we no longer think about the Shabbos of the past, but we think about the Shabbat of the future, the Messianic age, the time of redemption, the time that will be, as our sages call it, Yom Shekulo Shabbat, the day of the eternal Shabbat. And that is why the Mincha prayer talks about God is one and his name is one, because when the Mashiach comes, God's name will be one. And that is why we talk about the Jewish people being one, because as long as there is sinat chinam, as long as there is hatred, polarization, and dissension among the Jewish people, there cannot be Geulah. These are the 3 steps in the Shabbat liturgy: creation, revelation, redemption. Those of you that are familiar with philosophy may know that Franz Rosenzweig's work, The Star of Redemption, was based on precisely these 3 principles, and perhaps, although I don't know, he derived them from the structure of the Shabbat liturgy. But the point that I want to share with you is that these are not just describing nationalistic or even cosmic phenomena, but these represent 3 stages that each and every one of us can potentially go through every single Shabbat. The first stage of Shabbat, we are liberated, we are reborn, we shed the accumulated burdens of the week, and we enter the world of rest, the world of calmness, the world of serenity, like a baby being nurtured by its mother. That is the Friday night theme of the Shabbat of creation. We are recreated. We are no longer slaves to a world that dominates us and controls us. Perhaps that is why there's a universal phenomenon among Jews that when Friday night comes, we become enormously sleepy, because the burdens are not there and we finally let go. But ultimately, that's not enough. It is not enough to simply take away the demands of the world. It is not enough to be free. The question then becomes, free to do what? What is the purpose of your freedom? Freedom without commitment and without responsibility is nothing more than mere animal liberation. And thus, after we experience the recreation and the rebirth of Friday night, we take our newfound freedom and we pledge it as obedience to God, which is the revelation at Sinai. Freedom coupled with responsibility. But even after that, there's more of a journey that we have to undertake. And that is, although there are many types of galut, many types of exile, the deepest and most profound exile is when a human being is estranged against themselves. There is a dichotomy, there is a distance between the head that cognitively understands what is right and wrong, and the heart that doesn't always feel connected to God, it doesn't always feel connected to others, it's not always in touch with its deepest self. And thus, when we talk about unity and redemption, we are not just talking about the Jewish people coming back to Israel with the Beit HaMikdash and Mashiach, although we are surely talking about that. But we're talking about the holistic reuniting of head and heart, of mind and emotion, of cognition and feeling, in which I become one. I'm in the zone, as the expression goes, and I live my life with authenticity, with integrity, with wholeness. Every single Shabbat, we can potentially go through these transitions: freedom, responsibility, and integration. Doesn't mean it always happens. You know, there's a famous rabbinic saying, he who prepares on Erev Shabbat will eat on Shabbat. That doesn't only refer to food, although it's true there too. But if one wants to truly use Shabbat as a day to reconnect to their essential self, to God and to the Jewish people, it requires advanced preparation, meditation, contemplation, study, spiritual meditation. And then you've prepared yourself for the soul food, the food for the neshama, which is the great, great gift of Shabbat Kodesh, the extra enhanced soul that God gives us. A non-religious famous philosopher once remarked, more than the Jews have kept the Shabbat has kept the Jewish people. I urge and I pray that all of us will enjoy this precious gift and achieve a holistic reintegration of ourselves and our connection to God. Thank you. Shalom.